Welcome to the Mindset Mile podcast. I'm your host, Aisha Zaza. For the next 30 days, we're going to learn to build better habits in health, fitness, relationships, business, and overall well-being by making small mindset shifts that make a big difference. Contrary to how it may seem, the path to any success is achieved by taking small, consistent action over time. Someday is not a day of the week, so the time to level up is now, because you were made for greatness. It'll be a marathon, not a sprint, and together we'll take it one step, 1 mile, one day at a time. Welcome to the Mindset Mile. You ready? Hey fam, today we are going to talk about pretty much a universal problem I think we all have, and that is procrastination. We're going to talk about how to stop procrastinating. If there was just one trait I wish we could all get rid of, I honestly wish it would be procrastination. It just doesn't do any good. Putting off the things we need and want to do on a day-to-day basis determines the quality and richness of our entire lives. It breeds stress, anxiety, and robs you of doing extraordinary things. It's human nature to put off things we don't want to do, so I don't want you to feel alone in this, but I want to discuss some ways in which we can train ourselves to stop procrastinating. If you followed me for some time, you've probably seen me post or talk about Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. It's an amazing book. You should pick it up if you haven't read it yet. But the 5-second rule is used when you start to put something off or you feel yourself talk yourself out of doing something you don't want to do. At that point, you count backwards from 5 in your head or out loud. And when you get to 1, you move. The science behind it is that when a thought or idea enters our brain, we have approximately 5 seconds of entertaining or liking that idea before our brain will interject and start talking us out of it. It does this to keep us safe, to conserve energy, and sells us the idea that complacent is good enough. So when we count backwards from 5 and then just take action, you're cutting off the circuit of thoughts that keeps you going round and round on that idea. It's truly the most simple but effective way to rewire our brains to take action in the face of procrastination. And what I love about it is that it can literally be applied to anything. Like when your alarm goes off in the morning, even though it's something we intentionally set the night before. Think about the negotiating we do to not get out of bed when that alarm goes off. How many times do you press snooze? Now, trust me, I love to sleep too. But snoozing is just another way in which we strengthen our procrastination muscles. Because eventually, you do need to get out of bed, right? Putting it off does not alleviate the final outcome of why you set your alarm. When you feel yourself start to negotiate staying in bed for another 30 minutes, interject by counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom, put your feet on the ground. The number one way most people procrastinate is putting off starting something. Why? Because it takes the most amount of energy to start something when you have no momentum. It's Newton's law. Something in motion will stay in motion. And the opposite is true, that inactivity will breed inactivity. When I feel myself start to put off going on a run or doing a workout, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I put on my shoes and I just get out the door. People say to me all the time, I'm just not motivated to work out. Well, yeah, because motivation is fleeting. Do you want to keep living your life only taking action when you feel motivated? Are you okay getting what you would get if you just left it up to when you were feeling motivated? If not, it's time to start going to the mental gym and building your discipline muscles because that is the difference. The 5-second rule will help you get into momentum, even if it's just getting off the couch. Ever notice how you're far more likely to not take action when you're sitting doing nothing? Even if you just use the 5-second rule to get your body off the couch and moving, you're far more likely to go on a run or do the dishes or fold the laundry. There's nothing too small to stop procrastinating over, because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And you'll start to see how tightening up your procrastination in the small things will have an effect on the big things you put off. Now, the next thing I want to talk about probably is not going to sit well with my type A people, but hear me out. If you're a self-proclaimed perfectionist, I want to lovingly suggest that this is something that is actually holding you back more than it's serving you. Perfectionism is a form of procrastination that just sounds more valid because in order for something to be perfect, it must mean that you take your time on things and that you take a lot of pride in what you do, or that you only want the best of the best to be put forth, right? But how many times have you started something and didn't finish because it wasn't going to be perfect to your standard? Striving for perfection is taking the wrong aim. Because like Tony Robbins says, progress makes happiness, not perfection. Think about the last time it brought you actual happiness to not start or finish something because you were afraid it wouldn't be perfect. Are you like, yeah, it feels so good to have put off making that cookbook, or learning that language, or starting the business, or running the 10K? My guess is probably not. Most people often feel like they shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't because they put it off and put it off and put it off because it wasn't going to be perfect. And what was the point? Now, I'm not saying to just half-ass everything, but for crying out loud, stop using perfectionism as your shield from the world. Stop letting perfectionism be the reason you don't step into your calling, passion, and greatness because you think it won't be good enough. The world is starving for what you could bring to the table. If you want to build your confidence, then conditioning yourself to procrastinate less is going to need to become non-negotiable. Following through with what you say you're going to do builds trust in yourself, and it builds your trust with others. It feels good to complete tasks no matter how small they are. And you want to know what's awesome? I bet you can start working on this today. I bet there's something in your day that will come up that you don't want to do. And I hope that when it does, you're like, dang it, my friend Aisha is probably watching me from somewhere to see if I'll put in to use this Mel Robbins 5-second rule. It sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, it works. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and do the thing. I'm pumped for you, and I can't wait for all the things you're going to do. Your mountains are waiting. If you're loving this podcast, it would mean the world to me if you rated, subscribed, and shared it with a friend. Be sure to tag me on your walks or runs at Aisha Zaza and hashtag Mindset Mile. That's all we have for today, my friends. Remember, the big things don't happen overnight. It's the small things done consistently that make the big things possible. You are capable and you are worthy. Make it a great day.